All right, guys. So here we go. First and foremost, I want to welcome everybody back to school. It's been a really long time. I mean, we haven't been in school since March 13th. March 13th was the last day we were in school. That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. But we're back. We made it. It's certainly going to be different as we're going to go over in this little presentation here. But I think if we can all cooperate and make some things happen and follow the guidelines and do all the right things, I think we're going to be successful. And hopefully one day we'll get back, to normal. We'll be out of this hybrid scenario and, we can get back to normal. So that's your bell right there. So that would be the end of, I think fourth period. But listen, let's start. We got a lot of things to talk about, guys. Okay. Throughout this slideshow. So obviously, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out, ask questions, shoot me an email, ask when we're in person. There's a lot of things in here that are new. Normal right now has become completely changed. It's definitely new. So hopefully this is, becomes our new normal, and then we get back to our old normal, which is normal, if that makes any sense. So let's get rolling here. First of all, where am I? Okay, my name is Mr. Rankin. I'm going to be your math teacher for the fall semester and for one of the classes actually for the full year. So you're going to be in room B210, which you'll find out where that is. Period 2 is an Algebra 1 full year course. Period 3 is an Algebra 1 semester course. And period 4 is geometry. And that's going to be along with Mrs. DiLorenzo, who you'll get the opportunity to meet. Okay, important information. This is probably the most important page on this slide as far as connecting with me and reaching out to me and staying in tune with what's going on in class. So you see, I made a little chart here for you guys. You got your period 2 full year. There's your Google Classroom code and your Remind information. I'm sure all you guys are familiar with Remind and how that works. Okay, the contact number is 81010, and the code you're going to type in is the @ symbol and then JK4F48D. And then the same thing for period 3, Algebra 1 semester, period 4 geometry, so on and so forth. Everything you need to know about Google Classroom and Remind is right there for you. We're going to be doing everything off of Google Classroom this year, guys. All your assignments are going to be turned in, updates, reminders, Google Meets, all stuff like that. It's all going to be on Google Classroom. Hopefully by now, considering the remote situation we were in last year, you're a little more familiar with Google Classroom. And for whatever reason you're not, since we're going to be seeing each other in person every other day, obviously the teachers, we can help you out with that. Okay, the next page here, use this link to access my class page. Okay, so my class page, if you click this link right here with my name on it, it's going to take you to my class page. There's not really a whole lot here, guys. It's really nothing that you wouldn't see on my Google Classroom. Where that took me, let's try that one more time. So there's nothing here that you wouldn't see on my Google Classroom page. Some links to, Remind accounts, Google Classroom accounts, my email address, and things like that. Just some general information. All right, moving on. Okay, here are the links to your Google Classroom pages. Okay, so if you're in my period 3 Algebra 1 semester course, okay, there's the link, and I'll take you right to the Google Classroom for that period, Algebra 1 semester. And obviously, here's where you would see all the announcements and homework assignments and things like that. Hopefully, like I said earlier, you're a little more familiar with this now than you were in the past. So here's an easy access to your Google Classroom pages, and I'll hook you up with them, when I see you. Okay, now some guidelines for students in the classroom. I'm not going to go too crazy here. These are just some general rules, okay, that I expect you to abide by when you're in class. These are all things you have been expected to do in the past. So I'm just going to breeze through these pretty quickly. You're expected to be quiet, attentive, and respectful. Okay, when somebody else is talking, guys, just be quiet, respectful of their time, and give everybody the opportunity to talk. We all want the opportunity to talk, contribute, take part in a conversation, whatever the case may be. Let's be respectful of one another. Bullet point number 2 there, don't touch anything, take anything that does not belong to you. If it's not yours, guys, keep your hands to yourself. You're in high school now. We're all young adults, so let's handle each other like young adults. You are expected to be on time. If you are not in the classroom when the bell rings, you will be marked late. There's 8 minutes of passing time in the hallways. It used to be 6. They've upped that to 8. That should be more than enough time to get where you got to be. for you freshmen, I know this school is going to be a little bit new to you. It is a big school, but it's relatively easy to navigate once you get the hang of it. And I can show you a quick way of getting from class to class. Your hallway time is going to be limited. All right, given the circumstances, you're going to have to get from point A to point B relatively quick. So 8 minutes should be a breeze, guys. Please be on time. If it becomes an issue, then I'm forced to get administration involved, and of course I don't want to do that. And the last bullet here is you're expected to be prepared for class, have all required materials. Most importantly, a charged Chromebook. Everybody's going to have a Chromebook. You're required to have a charged Chromebook with you every single day. That is the most important thing to have, obviously, along with your textbook, your notebook, a pen or pencil, a calculator, things like that. But your Chromebook is at the top of that list. Moving along, some more guidelines in the classroom. All right, cell phones. We know how it works with cell phones, guys. We're going to stay off of them. We're going to put them away, put them in a bag, put them in a pocket. All right, you can save your Instagram stories and your Snapchats and your tweets and all that stuff for the time in between classes or after school or whatever the case may be there. I don't want to have to take phones. So if it becomes a problem, I'm going to have to, and I'm going to have to turn it into your vice principal. And I know mom and dad won't be happy about having to drive to school to come pick that up because you don't want to take a break from checking your Twitter feed. The next bullet point there is no food or drink in class. Guys, this year more so than any other year with all the safety guidelines. Nobody's going to eat. Nobody's going to drink in class. It is possible that you're going to be allowed to have a bottle of water, but that's hasn't been confirmed yet. So for right now, we're going to err on the side of caution and say that's not allowed. If you have a doctor's note, there are some medical situations out there. If you have a doctor's note, obviously, that allows you to bring things like a bottle of water or something small to eat, then obviously we'll go what your doctor says. And the last bullet point there is ask questions and participate on a daily basis so that you can understand. Guys, whether we're in class or on a Google Meet, participate, raise your hand, ask questions, suggest other ways to do problems. The common misconception in math is that there's one way to do the problem and there's not another way. That's not necessarily true. There are alternative methods to do some of the problems that we're going to do. And I want to hear your ideas. I want everybody to have the ability to contribute. And guys, on top of that, it's going to make for a better year if we are engaging in discussion as a group. If it's me doing all the talking, or if period 4, if you're in period 4, Mrs. DiLorenzo doing the talking, you're going to get bored real quick. The more people talking, the better. Okay, homework policy. Okay, homework's going to be assigned pretty much daily. I'll try and stay away from weekends if I can, but we're doing something new pretty much every single day, whether it's in class or remote. So homework's going to be pretty much given every day. It is going to be assigned through Google Classroom, and it's going to be expected to be turned in through Google Classroom. It's checked for completeness, not correctness. So we're not going to bust your chops if you get them all wrong. We're going to look to fix mistakes and fix your errors and help you get better. That's what homework is. Homework is an opportunity to improve. It's a self-check for you to see what you understand on your own without the teacher being right over your shoulder helping you out. If you're caught cheating on an assignment, you will receive a 0 for the assignment. Considering that things are being turned in through Google Classroom, guys, it allows more opportunities to cheat. I get it. I know there's apps out there like PhotoMath. I know you can Google some things. It's really not hard for me to figure out when you use PhotoMath. It's not difficult for me to figure out. So please, stay with the honor system. Do these on your own. Use PhotoMath for what it was meant for. Use it to check your answers. Okay, use it to see how well you did. And keep in mind, guys, a lot of times on PhotoMath, it's going to do the problem different ways than maybe I teach you. So there might be certain little tweaks that I use that PhotoMath doesn't necessarily understand. So they're going with what the app is going to generate, and if it's different than how I taught it, it's going to be pretty easy for me to see. But at least you can see the final answer and see if your answers match up. Like I said, all homework assignments are going to be turned in through Google Classroom. Some of my students had issues last year. This year, we have the luxury of being together every other day, so I can help you. Okay. But if you're still having trouble, here are some links that can help you out. So if I click on this first one, this is going to take you to a YouTube clip. Okay, hopefully it works. There it is. Okay, it's going to take you to a YouTube clip, and it's going to help you, turn in your assignments on Google Classroom. Get out of there, and then you got two more there. Okay, you got assignments on your phone, and then taking pictures and turning them in. And again, these are all things you can ask in class if you are having trouble, and there might be people that know better ways, maybe even some of your classmates that can help you out. Okay, grading policy. Your assessments are going to be 60% of your final grade. These are your chapter tests, your mid-chapter quizzes, your notebook quizzes, your quick quizzes. Okay, for chapter tests, we will prepare, guys. We'll have study guides. We'll review extensively. You will not be blindsided as to what's going to be on that test. Same thing with mid-chapter quizzes. If we're in a heavier chapter and we want to take a break at the halfway point and kind of evaluate where we're at, we will, and we'll review and we'll prepare, and you'll get a mid-chapter study guide. And then there's notebook quizzes too, and quick quizzes, checking to make sure you're taking notes, you're writing down your definitions, you're paying attention. And a lot of times, guys, on those, I'll allow you to use your notes. So if you're taking good notes and you're getting the examples down and the definitions and the theories and all that stuff, those should be a breeze. Those should be easy A's. Homework, which is 20% of your final grade, we talked a little bit about. These are going to be 5-point grades. If it's turned in, it's complete, it's on time, all the work is shown, you get a 5 out of 5, easy. If it's missing work, if it's late a day, if you missed a deadline, whatever the case may be, then points are going to be taken off. If you ever receive a grade lower than a 5 and you're curious as to why, just ask. Okay, ask when you're in person, shoot me an email, make a comment on Google Classroom, whatever you need to do, ask. All right, it is possible that I made a mistake. I am human. And then participation is going to be 20% of your final grades. Your do nows will be checked. They'll be put in, they'll be graded just like homeworks are graded. We're not necessarily seeing if you get it right or wrong. Well, we are looking for that, but we're not going to penalize if you get the problem wrong. That's practice. Homework and participation, do nows, things like that. That's all about practice. Okay, Google Meets. I'm sure you guys have all been on multiple Google Meets by now. On days that you are remote, there's going to be a required Google Meet later in the day. So if you're remote, if you're in group 2 and group 1 is in school and you're out of school, you're going to have your remote assignment during the course of the day. And then I'm going to meet with you later in the day via Google Meet, and we're going to talk about what you did that day. The only downside is it's only 20 minutes. I'm only going to have 20 minutes to meet with you guys, and I'm going to have an hour with the in-person group. So I'm going to be relying heavily on you guys to do the assignment on your own as best you can. And you will have resources to help you. I'm going to use Screencastify videos and YouTube clips and Khan Academy to help you out. So you'll have resources. So when we meet remotely in a Google Meet setting, it's really going to be A, for attendance. You have to check in for attendance. If you're not there, you're going to be marked absent. And B, just to check in and see how you did and kind of have 20 minutes to go over some important points that I want to make sure you understand before seeing you the next day in person. Actually, guys, going back to Google Meets, this is something that's important. If you are in a group that is in person, okay, let's say you're in the in-person group on a given day, but you're absent, okay, you're homesick, or you have to stay home with your brother or sister, whatever the case may be, you can jump on the Google Meet for the other group if you want. Because keep in mind, you're still going to be able to complete these assignments remotely, okay? So if you're absent on a given day, you can still do the remote assignment and still jump in the Google Meet, get marked in for attendance, and at the same time learn the material that was taught that day. So, that's a huge advantage that you guys haven't had in the past. So definitely take advantage of that. All right, so some general guidelines for students in the building. There's going to be some new things in here that you're not necessarily used to. Okay, I'm going to go through these bullet by bullet. Students got to wear a mask at all times. Okay, they must be appropriate, no bandanas. Guys, we've been doing the mask thing for a long time. I'd be lying to you if I said that I am used to it by now. I am not used to it by now. I don't like it. Okay, I think it's as annoying as probably you guys think it is, but it's what we have to do to stay safe. It's what we have to do to stay safe. And if we're going to stay safe and we're going to be able to come to school and we're going to be able to get out of this hybrid and get back to normal, we have to wear a mask. They got to be appropriate. Okay. Can't have bandanas. It's got to be over your mouth and your nose, and you got to wear it at all times. Okay. Students can wear a shield if they have documentation. I know that there's some students out there that, have maybe medical documentation that says you need to wear a shield. It's got to wrap around the chin. It's got to cover the mouth. but the nurse's office is kind of taking care of that. Hallway travel is going to be limited, guys. It's going to be limited this year. You're going to have to get, like I said earlier, from point A to point B quickly. You're only going to be allowed to walk on one side of the hallway. They're trying to, limit contact. So you're going to walk on the right side. You'll see the arrows on the floor. You'll see the tape in the ground. If you need to go to guidance, child study, or you got to talk to your vice principal about something, whatever the case may be, you're going to have to email them first. So you're going to have to set up appointments through email, which can be taken care of, obviously, on your Chromebooks. Okay, so if your guidance counselor is Mrs. Myers and you have a schedule conflict or, something along those lines, you can email her and she'll make an arrangement for you to go see her and sit down. But the days of just asking for a pass and going to guidance or going to your locker or anything of that nature, right now that's not going to happen. Okay, and as for going to the bathroom, definitely only one person at a time. And I'm going to limit it as much as I can because they're trying to limit hallway travel. They're trying to limit contact. There's no lockers. No lockers have been given out. Nobody has a locker, so nobody's going to be, going into their locker at all. If you're caught going into a locker, maybe you had a locker last year, and for whatever reason the combination still works. I think they changed them all anyway. I don't think that's going to work, but you're going to be told that you can't. You can't use lockers. Bathrooms are locked during passing time, so you're not going to be able to go to the bathroom during passing time in 5 minutes at the beginning and end of class. And no eating in classroom. We already talked about that unless you have medical documentation. Okay, as for the bathrooms, this is going to be kind of wacky, guys. Nope. There's actually a bathroom schedule, and obviously what they're doing is they're trying to limit contact and keep them as clean as possible and sanitary. They're trying to help the custodians out and get them to do their jobs effectively. So if you look here, my classes, you'll have me periods 2, 3, and 4, okay, depending on which group you're in. My classroom is upstairs. So if you're in period 2, here's your upstairs availability right here. If you're in my period 2 class, you're going to go to the upstairs BC connection, which obviously, if you don't know where that is, I will show you. If you're in period 3, there's going to be 2 bathrooms open. These B-wing bathrooms are right outside my room. So they're going to be right there. So that's perfect for you guys in period 3. And then period 4, you're going to be at the BC connection as well. So period 2, BC connection. Period 3 is in the B-wing bathrooms. And period 4, your upstairs BC connection. I will show you where these are. They're all in walking distance. They're real close, especially you period 3 guys, like I said. And then obviously for your other classes, you can find the closest one to you. Okay, general guidelines for the nurse's office. All right. If you're sick, all right. If you're not feeling well, obviously with COVID being a big issue, obviously if you're having any symptoms of things like that, that's what you want to go to the nurse for, guys. That's what the nurse is there for. You're not going there to take a nap. You're not going there to get a cough drop. These are for emergencies, medical emergencies. The nurses are going to be, expected to do way more than they've been asked to do in the past. So we're trying to limit the contact that they have with students, and we're also trying to limit it to things that really need to be taken care of. The nurses' bathroom is going to be off limits for students and staff during the course of the day. So if you need to go to the bathroom, unless you have a pass or some sort of medical permission, you're going to have to use one of the restrooms in the hallways, like I said earlier with that schedule. Okay, how the schedule works. Okay, you're going to be on a shortened day schedule. It's going to be 7:15 to 11:44. So it's a shortened day. They're going to be hour classes. Like I said earlier, you're going to have 8 minutes in between passing time. At 11:44, that last bell is going to ring. There's going to be a staggered exit, and everybody's going home. Nobody's staying after school. There's no after school help right after that period. Okay, you're going to get on your bus or get in your car or picked up by mom or dad, however you're getting home, and you're home, and then you're going to get on your remote stuff. Group 1, group 2, I think you know this by now. You're coming in every other day, Mondays, Wednesdays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and then Fridays you're going to alternate. Week to week, I will obviously keep you posted because I know I'm going to forget. And if I'm going to forget, I know you're going to forget. So I'll keep you posted on, when we're meeting and what days of the week you're in school, out of school, and things like that. Announcements will be made in the morning like normal. PM announcements will be made at the end of the day as needed. All right, so here are our groups, guys. You may know this by now, you may not know this by now, but period two, which is algebra one full year, group one, you see the group one list over here, okay, and you see the group two list on the right. Okay, so when group one over here is in person, group two is remote, and then on the next day, obviously it flip flops. You can see that one group is a little bit bigger than the other one, but they're both small. I think this is if I remember correctly, this is 11 on the left and 8 on the right. So that these are kind of close. All right, if you're in my period three class, here's the split. There's only 12 of you in the class, which would be a small group to begin with, but it becomes even smaller when you split it. So there's 4 people in group one, and then there's 8 in group two. Okay, and again, this is something you probably already know. And then if you're in my period four class with Mrs. DiLorenzo, there's 14 people in group one and there's 7 people in group two. They split it up alphabetically, guys. That's why the numbers aren't even. So basically, A through K, last names A through K are group one, and last names L through Z are group two, unless there was a brother sister combination of things like that. If you have different last names, they kind of helped you out there. But for the most part, it's alphabetically. Okay, here's how the schedule works, guys. Okay, we'll go over this a little more extensively. You got if you're in person, if you were a group one student, you'd be in person. There's your period breakdown. Okay, you could see you got hour classes with 8-minute passing time. Okay, at 11:44, like I said, there's that last bell. You go home. That's when we start our staggered dismissal. Okay, 11:50 to 12:20. That's when I get my break. I get a lunch break. Okay, and then we go into our Google Meets. Okay, and you can see the time breakdown right here. We're going to go over that. There's another slide with your Google Meets in there. And then after the Google Meets, okay, after the Google Meets down here, whoop, after the Google Meets, okay, from 1:40 to 2:15, I'm actually available for extra help. Okay, so I may set up a Google Meet for extra help for that, or reach out to you guys if you want it. And that's obviously voluntary. You don't need to jump on that if you don't want to. Okay, color coded weekly, monthly schedule. Use this link. If I click on it, this is going to take us to a Google document. And this is actually hanging in my classroom, but now you have access to the link on what certain days are. So if we're all going to get confused at times, guys. I said that earlier. If you're confused, you can always refer to this calendar and go week to week. It goes through September, goes through the whole fall. All right. Everything, all the fall, all the way till Christmas break. Okay, so here's December 23rd, the last day we meet before we go on our holiday break. So now you have access to that calendar, and just in case you ever forget. Okay, Chromebook procedures. Okay, so Chromebook procedures. Students are to bring a fully charged Chromebook each day. We talked about that. If you forget it or it lacks a charge, we will have Chromebooks to lend out. Obviously, it's going to need to be returned. Try not to let that happen, guys. Try and bring it every single day. Treat it like your cell phone. Okay, I know, when I go to bed at night, one of the last things I do is I put my cell phone on a charger, so that when I wake up the next morning, I know I got a full 100% to work with. You should do the same thing with your Chromebook, and you should put it in a place where the following morning you're not going to forget it. Obviously, if you're remote that day and you're home, it's going to be there. You can just charge it kind of as you go. But really, more for the in-person days when you're here, you're going to have a fully charged Chromebook to get you through the day. Cleanliness in the building, guys. These are all things you've heard throughout this whole COVID scenario. Wash your hands frequently, sanitize. The desks are going to be cleaned in between classes. You guys are going to help me with that when you're here. There's hand sanitizer in the classroom, all right, that you guys can use. Just use common sense. Like we talked earlier about wearing the masks, keep your masks on. All right. Keep your masks on, do the right thing. I know it stinks. I know it's an inconvenience. But it's what we got to do to stay safe, and it's what we got to do to stay in school. Okay. Miscellaneous materials, lockers. Okay. No lockers are given to students. We talked about that. Fully charged Chromebook. We talked about that. Textbooks are going to be given out to you. They'll be assigned. Okay. Those are yours for the semester. We'll use those as a resource, and obviously I'm going to give you a boatload of resources, that you can access through your Chromebooks via Google Docs, Google Sheets, things on Google Classroom, videos, screencastify videos of me, and you're going to have all that stuff in your Chromebook. But when in doubt, if for some reason your Chromebook dies or something happens, the textbook is obviously a valuable resource. You can have that as kind of a backup plan. As for calculators, guys, we can't have a class set um, because that would mean sharing calculators and things like that. We don't want to do that. But I would encourage you guys, get your own calculator. Go to ShopRite, go to Staples. I'm pretty sure they're $12.99, $13. See if you can get your own scientific calculator, and then it's yours. And you bring it every single day, and you hold on to it. And you're never not going to need a calculator in your math classes in high school. So for you freshmen, you're going to need it for 4 years. You sophomores, you're going to need it all 4 years of high school, even going into college. You're going to need a scientific calculator, maybe even something a little bit better. But try and get your hands on your own. This way, you're not relying on me. You're not relying on your phones, because you're not going to be able to use your phones in class. Okay. And a lot of times people say, well, the phone has a calculator. I can tilt it. It's got the scientific stuff on it. I know that, guys. I know that. Um, but when you're on your phone, I can't tell if you're typing something in on a calculator or if you're checking your Instagram feed or you're posting a story or things like that. So you're not going to be able to be on your phone. So you're not going to be able to do that. And if you don't have a calculator of your own, then you're going to be stuck without one, which is gonna make life challenging, especially in some of the sections that we get into. So definitely encouraged to get a calculator. All right, guys, listen, that's pretty much all I got for that presentation. I know I went through a lot of things, and I'm sure there's questions. We all have questions. I know I have questions, and I can't promise that I'm going to have an answer to every single question that you're going to have, but I promise to do my best. If anything, guys, I think we're in a time now where some things are going to be figured out on the fly. I don't like saying that, but I think that's what we're up against with what we're doing here. But I firmly believe we're gonna have a great year. I know I'm happy to be back in school. I'm really happy to be back in school. I'm looking forward to connecting with the students. I'm looking forward to having some in-person instruction, establishing those relationships. So stay calm. We're all in this together. And we're going to make this a great school year. And the only way, guys, and I can't stress this enough, the only way to fight our way back to a normal school day, a normal school year, no masks, normal days, all that sort of stuff, is to make this hybrid thing work. All right. And the only way we're going to make this hybrid thing work is if you guys can follow these guidelines as best as you possibly can. It's definitely going to be a challenge. There's no doubt about that. Okay. But I believe that we can all make this happen. We're in this together, guys. So I look forward to seeing you and answering any questions that you might have. And that's all I got.